Going back to what I mentioned for the reading for last month, and I remember this very vividly because the energy feels very similar. I mentioned there's a lot of fear here about having to rely on another person in your February reading, I believe, right? And I mentioned that, Scorpios, you guys rule the eighth house, okay? And the eighth house, once again, like I said, it's that bucket of tar. It's the house of rebirth, sex, death, rebirth, and regeneration. It's about reinventing ourselves, okay? But the eighth house is also about share finances, share resources. And I feel like for many of you, you have worked really, really hard to be self-sufficient, to be financially stable, to take care of yourself, to not have to fall on hard times, to not have to, to like build up a comfortable life for yourself where you can, especially if you have children, if you have people that you love, you want to be able to provide and buy nice things for the people that you love. Okay. And so, the finances, it's not just about you. It's not just about taking care of you, buying yourself nice things. You think about other people. So with that eighth house ruling joint finances, a lot of it is just, the weight of the responsibility, wanting to be self-sufficient, wanting to carry this financial burden, but at the same time, you just feel like, I don't know how I can possibly do this on my own. I don't know how I can start a business without having to, go to the bank and get a loan. I don't know how I can, start school without dabbing into or dipping into my savings. I don't know how I can, leave this job right now and survive off and retire and survive off, whatever income I've accumulated or dipping into my savings to fund the retirement. So I feel like there are a lot of financial a lot of financial maneuvering or a lot of financial factors that are really affecting this major decision. And so you're kind of going round and round in circles trying to sort things out. And I feel like that little boy, you are a little bit like, I want to say mired in the unknown, okay? And anytime, and any responsible person, when we are faced with a lot of risk and when we are faced with a lot of uncertainty too, we tend to think about, worst case scenario. Like, what if I'm anticipating this, but then I hadn't really thought about that? And what if the situation goes haywire? What if what I'm leaning on, is not stable? Okay. And what if it's not what if it's not secure? What if it's faulty? What if it will fly off its hinges? What if, things change? So there are a lot of what ifs in this scenario that's disallowing you from making a move. Okay. So I feel like for many of you, you're still here contemplating, mulling over all the decisions. And a lot of it, I feel, is financially motivated. And I feel like finances might be the biggest factor here. Okay. For some of you, I feel like you have some brand new projects that you're trying to start up and people are bringing these projects to you. Like this messenger here in the bird is bringing you new projects here and you're working out the details. You're working out the numbers. You're crunching numbers, trying to figure out pricing, trying to figure out estimates, trying to figure out like length of time, trying to plan a lot of things like when is a good time to start? When is a good time to end? When is a good time to wrap it up? Realistically, how long is going to take me? Do I have the manpower? So you have a lot of logistical things that you're thinking about behind the scenes and you're organizing and compartmentalizing and you're trying to work out the details. And I feel like you're just like scraping the tip of the iceberg and you're scraping the perimeter of this Band-Aid. And I feel like it seems very overwhelming because you feel like you might not know what's really underneath. Okay. And so what I would suggest here, and you are the one that has to be deliberate about making this decision. It needs to come from you. It should be deliberately done. So take the time that you need until you are sure, because I feel like in the month of March, you are going to be very, very sure. You're going to take the situation into your own hands. and you're going to grab life by the horns, okay? And you're just going to, whatever it is that has been kind of like hidden from you, or whatever you feel like you don't have full information on or full access to, you're going to rip off that band-aid and you're going to be the one in the driver's seat again, okay? So a lot of you might be here, and this is where you want to be, okay? And the state where you want to be, it's really, really good. I have here the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is a major, major celebration. This is traditionally like a happy home, happy family, celebratory, coming together, communion, people gathering, and being in the shelter and the comfort and the stability of a long-term relationship. And then we have here the Two of Cups, which is a very strong soulmate connection. Okay, so I feel like for many of you, you're really trying to design or create your life so that you can fit into the life of another person, or so that you can make the other person fit into your life. Okay. And this is about partnership. Okay. The Two of Cups is a really beautiful card that denotes to me having a really strong sense, like a bond, but a strong sense of like liking somebody, caring about somebody, wanting to grow old with another person. It's a very strong soulmate connection where even if we're mad at the other person, even if like they do the little things, you know, that drives us nuts, like chewing with their mouth open, or giving unsolicited advice, or even if we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, you still really care about this person and they care about you. It's like when you're sick, they're there by your side. And when they're sick, you want to be there by their side. And so this is a really harmonious type of a relationship. And you're trying really hard to work at it, okay? And you see the value and the merit in this situation. I feel like for some of you too, you might be in one relationship, the passion, the chemistry might have fizzled out. You're staying together for the financial stability here with the Ten of Wands. I'm sorry, the Ten of Pentacles. And you might have somebody else in your environment that is really pulling you, and they have like they have a hold on you, and you're trying to, you know, remove yourself from this situation so that you can start again. Okay. And you are well aware that this current relationship might not be serving you, and you're moving on with something else. Okay. And this is where you want to be ultimately. For others of you, this is just getting your life together in some capacity so that another person, so that you can like blend your life with another person, or you can make room for the other person, or the other person can make room for you in their life. So I'm seeing a lot of like planning, a lot of unknowns, a lot of factors that might not be readily available. Like all the information is not readily available to you. I don't feel like anybody's hiding the information. I feel like everything is within your hands. You have total control over it. It's just whether or not you are ready to take this plunge. And you know, the decision, excuse me, has to come from you. You need to be the one to make this decision, because like that little boy said, you know, I want to do it. Okay. And I feel like for many of you, this is like a big yes. Okay. If it's like confirmation that you need, the answer is it's a big yes. Okay. And you have to be the one to initiate that change, or to initiate that process. Okay. Get the ball rolling, from your end. All right. We have as well the Four of Pentacles and the Star. And the star is wish fulfillment, okay? This is like, for many of you, if you have been if you have been thinking about a new endeavor, a new project, a new business, a new course of action that you need to take to steer your life away from what was no longer serving you into something that has a lot more, that makes you a lot more happy. This is a big yes card, okay? And the Star is all about your path. It's all about your destiny. It's all about things that you're meant to do, because you naturally have the gifts and the talents in order to make this a viable, to build this up so that it's a viable path for your future. The only thing that is standing in your way here is Four of Pentacles, clinging on to the past, okay? And honest to God, Scorpios, you can be a little bit clingy, and you can be a little bit, and fixed signs in general, we like to control, okay? We like to predict outcomes. We like to be in control at all times. We don't like the unknowns. We don't like the uncertainty. And I feel like the thing that's really getting in the way here is I'm comfortable here. Okay. There's riches, there's wealth, there's jewelry, there's gold chains. This is a very comfortable, abundant type of an environment. Okay. And I feel like for many of you, it's comfortable here. Okay. It's stable here. And so for you to break away from this, you need like a grand gesture. You need a promise of something extraordinary and something amazing and something huge in order for you to break away. Okay. Like I said, the Ten of Pentacles is the apex of financial stability and financial abundance. And so to walk away from this, you need a promise, a guarantee of something much more amazing, much more passionate, much more thrilling in order for you to feel safe and secure enough to take this leap. And I feel like the universe is telling you there is something here. There is harmony. There is, there is a person that is going to be walking alongside you. And so I feel like you needed some reassurance. Okay. And you needed to know the answers. Okay. So it's like that boy. I'm drawn to the fact that he keeps thinking like, what if it's infected? Okay. Because he's had that Band-Aid on for so long. He doesn't know what's underneath. It's sealed. It's stuck to his skin all around the perimeter of that wound. He doesn't know if it's infected. He doesn't know if anything got in. And so one of his worst fear, it's not so much the pain, but like, what if he rips it open and then it's infected, right? And to find out that, that it's not healed, but it's like something that, it's like the worst case scenario. What if it's defective? What if it's damaged goods? What if, it's outside of my control? Okay, what if I lose control in this situation? So I feel like for many of you, the major obstacle between making this decision, you making this decision, is definitely that sense of unknown, that sense of what if things go awry? What if things didn't pan out? What if, I'm stuck in this situation where I'm going to get hurt, more hurt? And so there's a lot riding here, but I definitely feel that the majority of it is this financial weight that is, I'm feeling it really, really heavily on your heart chakra. It's something you're very concerned about, and it's smack dab in the middle of this spread, weighing very heavily on you. You want this newness. You definitely do. You are realizing that status quo, whatever is holding you back here, is no longer feeding into your spark for life. Your ability to really wake up every day and be really happy and joyful. There's something heavy over here that's no longer feeding your emotional needs. You want this new celebration and you want this new change. And yet it just feels as if finances might be the major factor here. And at the end of the day, you want stability. You've worked really, really hard to build up this apex. And once you've reached this apex, it's comfortable. It's solid, and it's practical, and it's predictable, but it's no longer bringing you that emotional stability. Emotional happiness. And so this is, once again, a decision that you need to make on your own. And I feel like, people can give you advice until they're blue in the face. And I feel like you're not going to do it unless you're ready for it. Okay. And I can assure you, once you make this leap, what's on this side, where you want to head and where you want to be, It is very promising. It's full of prosperity. It's full of yes, and it's full of hopefulness. I do feel there is a revival here, and I do feel for many of you a stability in a relationship over here. Okay. And so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope the reading finds you well. I hope that it has provided, whatever answers that you are seeking for the month of March. You seem to have a lot of questions. And so I feel like the overwhelming message is, you got to rip off that band-aid. You got to do it fast, and you got to be very, very deliberate, and you have to be the one to initiate it. Okay.